Hi, boys and girls. This is part 2 of your lesson, and this part is going to be your guided practice and your independent practice, and you will find that on page 791 in topic 14, lesson 14.3. All right, and just reviewing, today we're still working on reading a table with data. We're going to do that more. We're going to make some ordered pairs. We're going to graph the data, and we're going to solve problems, and again, find patterns. Moving on. Okay, let's do some math. All right, welcome back to class. Here we are. We are back with Bill and Ann a little bit longer. And let's review quickly that we know that Bill, he has $5 more every time, it seems, than Ann. Okay, so we are going to go up here and do this problem here. And it says in the example on page 790, find another point on the line, and which does that point represent? Okay, so we are going to expand this table just a little bit and take a look at it and put some points there. Okay, let's check it out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to plot this point because I need to lock it. I'm going to plot this point. Stands out to me. So if you plot it, you're going to just now try and figure out that's 20 and 25. Okay, so what does this represent? If we have 20 here and 25 there, we can plot those coordinates, right? So we will plot the new coordinates, which would be 20, because Ann is X, 25 for Bill. And what does the point represent? So what does each one of these represent? And hopefully by now you're aware that Bill has $5 more than her in every case. So $20 is what Ann has, and $25 is what Bill has. Now, maybe you plot your own point and figure out what it represents. So go ahead and plot your own point, and then pause the video, and then plot your own point, and then do what I just did in your notes. So in my notes, I'm going to write for mine is $20 equals Ann, and $25 equals Bill. What did you write? Okay, the next problem has to do with the same situation, but now it's asking us in the example on page 790, write an equation to show the relationship between Ann's earnings and Bill's earnings. And what we need to look at is our handy dandy table that we had made before. So let's just kind of make this smaller so we can make that table again. And we have X value and Y value, and we know that was Ann, and then that was Bill. And Ann started with $0 and Bill had 5, and then she got paid 3, and then he got paid 3, and then she got paid 3, and then he got paid 3, and so forth, right? So we've gone through this process with them. So what it wants us to do is it wants us to write an equation. It's asking for us to write an equation that shows this relationship between them, okay? And we know that he has $5 more. Okay, so let's go back to this. And an equation is, again, it is a statement. It's a mathematical statement. It's like a sentence, and it has an equal sign, okay? So in this case, we are going to write a statement that shows this relationship between them. So we know that Bill has $5 more than Ann. So we could go 5 plus 0 is 5. We could go 5 plus 3 is 8. And we could also say 5 plus 6 is 11. And so on down all the values with Ann and Bill. Even with my one that I just got where she had $20 and he had $25, I could still do 5 plus 20 equals 25. Now, how do we write that as an equation? Well, why don't we just put 5 up here plus X equals Y? And that can be your equation, okay? So over here, your equation can be 5 plus X equals Y. So what does all that mean? That just means that for everything Ann has, whatever Ann gets, Bill is always going to have $5 more. Okay, so that's just the rule, and it's also sometimes called a rule, and these tables are sometimes also called function tables. Okay, so this is the rule, and it's all pre-algebra for you guys. Okay, so you just wrote an algebraic equation, 5 plus x equals y. But the cool thing is that you should be able to talk about it. Okay, so we're going to say goodbye to our friends Bill and Ann. I've had enough of them today. And we are going to look at this problem, number 3, which is asking us to write the missing coordinates and tell what the points represent. So similar, but just a different scenario. Okay, this next problem has to do with cars and jets, but actually cars that are a jet that is actually a car. So it's really fast. And this particular one, it asks you, the problem says, please write the missing coordinates and the points that it represents. So here you're just going to go over here and you've got your XY here, and you can just start here at the 5 and trace up 5 and 200. So you can write your coordinates right away because that's easy. I think you could probably identify that. The tricky thing is to then look at your chart and say, what is this all about? So this is a jet car, distance, time over distance. So in 5 seconds, this car goes 200 miles per hour. In 10 seconds, up here, it goes 400 miles per hour. In 15 seconds, it goes 600 miles per hour. So this is like you reading the graph. So basically, you've just plotted these points, 5 and 200. And what does that mean? That in 5 seconds, the car goes 200 miles. It's a pretty fast car. Oof, fast. Okay, let's look down at problems 4 and 5. Before I get started with the explanation on how to do these problems, I want you to look at both graphs so you have an idea of what the graphs are saying. Okay, did you look at the graphs and notice that graph on problem 4 is about comparing temperature change in metals? And they have 2 metals, aluminum, like aluminum foil, and titanium, right? Titanium and aluminum. And so they're comparing their temperatures, and they're asking us to do the same thing, which is plot the coordinate that is missing right here. So we are going to just kind of draw our lines down like this. And over here, to make sure, circle, circle. Okay, we know that this is the x-axis, so we can just do an x and y to remind us. And we're going to say this is 1,000 degrees Celsius for titanium and 800 degrees for aluminum. Okay, and so when it says and tell what the point represents, you're just saying that. You're just saying that that titanium, I'm going to abbreviate titanium, equals 1,000 when aluminum equals 800 degrees. All right, let's talk about Yosemite wildlife sightings. Deer and elk. Yosemite wildlife sightings. Okay, so this means Yosemite we know is a park, and these are the wildlife. So it's like how many deer to how many elk. Okay, it's like a comparison. It's going up. So we'll see. We've got our missing coordinates here, and we are going to just do what I said. We're going to and this is 200, and we can go over here. This is between 100 and 200, so what number would be between 100 and 200? Well, I would say it's 150. You see how I got that? Okay, so we know that this is our x-axis, and x comes first when we're writing the coordinate pairs. So we're going to write 200, comma, 150. And again, we want to know what it represents. Okay, so for the deer, there are 200 deer. When deer, there are 200 deer. There are 150 elk. Okay, got it? All right. Okay, boys and girls, our last problem that we're going to do together is here. It is problem 6, and it says for exercise 5 times, find 2 other points on the line, then graph and label them. Describe the relationship between a deer and the elk sightings. Okay, we're going to just for time, we're just going to do one extra coordinate on the line. And so it says find two other. Find two other. Yeah, so that means we need to like actually find two more. So I brought our little chart out here. This is the chart that was here. This is the same chart, and I pulled it out. And I'm just going to say, why don't we go right here? We'll just plot this, and we'll track this down like here. And then we're gonna go up here to there. So this is easy because it says 400. This is between 4 and 500. And so between 4 and 500, that is going to be what? 450. Okay, so we're going to again go X, Y. We are going to pop in that 450, which is our X value, and that is what deer sighting. And then we have 400 elk. Okay. And let's look at some of the other ones. We just did this other one, this over here. We have the 200 to 150. Okay, so to define a relationship, and I want you to think again, this could be like our function table, okay, our x, y, and we'd have 450 and 400, okay, and then look at this point down here. I'm going to put that in there. This is 400 and 350. And then here we had that point, and it was 300 and 250. And then this is the one we found ourselves, and that was 200 and 150. So we have enough here where we can decide what the pattern is. And so what I notice is there's 450 minus 400 equals 50. 400 minus 350 equals 50. 300 minus 250 equals 50. And 200 minus 150 equals 50. So do you think we have a pattern? Is there a pattern? Yes, there's a pattern here, and it has to do with this number 50, right? So what do we say here? We know that the y value, we go over to a table, is what? The y is elk. Okay, and they're deer. So how many more? Are there more elk or deer? For every deer, there's 50 less elk. Okay, so for every x, so you could write an equation if you needed to. For every x, for every deer, there are 50 less elk equals y. So does that work? 450 minus 50 equals the elk? Yes, it does. So this is just another, we're back to like Bill and Ann, but this is what this is all about. And it's so complex, and there's so much in it. All right, I want to talk to you about your practice really quick. Your equation. Here, your practice is here. This is your problem solving practice. It's on page 792. And you are going to do problem 7, 8. You may skip these two problems, and then I would like you to be able to solve 11 and 12. You are going to upload all pages to Google Classroom. And I will leave you the slideshow, a new one, there for you to upload to. I will post the key and how I solve these problems. I will post in another video. Okay, good luck, you guys. Good luck.